So here I have a couple of 3D printed parts, which is nothing special. That's what 3D printers are for. The one thing about these though is I didn't draw any of these or design any of these. I didn't download them from Thingiverse or anything like that. And this is just a 10mm cap head bolt with a thread on it and a timing pulley. Now these ones here, the way I did this was brought to my attention by a YouTuber called AVE, and using Fusion 360 we can get some pretty good parts, well, as far as 3D printed parts are done, but these are actually off the shelf part that you can buy from McMaster-Carr, and they are very, very simple to get. In Fusion 360 we can insert, and down here McMaster-Carr component, and we've got all the components that McMaster-Carr has in their store, which is pretty cool. Now most of these are pretty much all in here for when you're drawing something, modelling something, and you want parts, so you can just add them to your drawing without having to actually draw them yourself. But what we can do is, we'll have to go through a few steps here to decide what we're actually getting. We'll pick a, say, M20 nut. We'll pick just this one for no particular reason, and if we click on product detail here, this will tell us about the nut, the specifications on it, gives you all the dimensions of the drawings on it. Now one thing we can do if we wanted to save this to add to our whatever we're drawing, if we save this as a 3D step and then save, it will then bring this nut straight in to Fusion 360, which that's great, right? Because now what we can do, we'll cancel that what it's doing, we've got our nut here, it's just as if we'd drawn it ourselves, and then we can save it as an STL. Once you've done that, we can just send it straight to our slicer and print it out. So anything that's in the McMaster-Carr website, we can pretty much all, from what I've experienced so far, we can pretty much all just 3D print it out. Everything will be in scale on size, you don't have to draw it. So for something real simple products, it's not really, I mean, when are you ever going to use a 3D printed bolt, right? It's not, hasn't really got the strength to do much of anything, especially with a 1mm pitch thread. But these are still functional, they still do work. I've printed some nuts and bolts recently and they actually will work. They're not very strong, but they will work. As far as we go as something like a 3D printed timing gears or sprockets or pulleys or whatever you want to call them, these are surprisingly strong, and you could actually use these in certain components. Once you get them into Fusion, you can of course modify your bore, put a keyway in, do anything else that you do like you've drawn a part. So this is pretty handy. Obviously this isn't something I discovered, I only came across other YouTubers, and there's quite a few of them that have got pretty good detailed videos on how to do it. But if it interests anyone, it makes making some parts very easy. If I was to draw that myself in Fusion, that would take quite some time, but I can do it in seconds, or minutes I suppose. So yeah, if that's helpful to anyone, I'll link AVE's video down below. He's not for everyone, that's for sure. His sense of humour can be offensive to some, but I quite like him. For most trade guys, he's pretty good value. You can learn a bit, and he's not always perfect, not always right, but has some good ideas.